Thanks so much for joining us today. We would love to know how God is using this ministry to touch your life. Please take a moment to send your story to marathonchurch.org/mystory. Also, if you would like to support this ministry financially, you can do so by visiting marathonchurch.org and choosing the giving option that works best for you. Thanks again for joining us, and we hope you enjoy today's message.
Good morning, everybody. See if I got this thing working right. I'm working on it. There we go. Well, we've been doing ghosts. Well, let me do this first. Let's get the fashion thing over with. Can you tell the difference between these shoes and this pink shirt? Can you tell the difference? Well, when I ordered these online, they look pink. So we're going to go with lavender, but I still am, in pink mode, okay? I'm still there. Just letting you know that kind of thing. And everybody said, how many of these pair of these shoes you have? I only have one of these. Only one. Just letting you know that. Well, we've been talking about ghosts. We've been talking about the fear of stuff. And the fear of failure was last weekend. We figured out that it's part of life to fail, but it isn't part of the Christian life to stop. That's the one thing you'll find out in the Bible, that it tells us to keep moving forward, stay the course, finish the race, all the things that we probably aren't good at. It tells us to do. So that's probably where we are. I was hanging out with the youth Wednesday night. They had a thing called Neon Night, which was a black and white, what am I saying? Black light night. In other words, everything was glowing in the dark. So I had my face, whatever. I have no shame anymore. So I had my face in there, and we had a wonderful time. We talked about The Walking Dead. It was amazing, which was the walkers, and we talked about the living dead, and I told them they were in the Bible, and they could not believe it. And so we had such a good time in there. It was really good, and I can't wait to go back this week. I get to do it again, do something crazy in there. So it's going to be fun. But we were talking about some of the things that we fear also, some of the things that we're having to get over. We talked about horror movies. We talked about some of the stuff that you probably should not be seeing. Is that good, parents? Does that feel good? So stuff you should not be doing, that kind of thing. But we've been talking about some of the fears, and we're going to talk about a fear today. We're trying to get through some stuff, and I've been giving you the three things, and I'll tell you again what they are. The things that are basically the demons that are going to plague you, the things that you're going to have to deal with if you're going to have a life. And so I'm just going to tell you what Jesus said about them. I'm just going to tell you that it's in the New Testament. And these are the things, if there's any, conversations about what's going on in the New Testament, these are the conversations that you need to talk about, because this is what is happening. We've already dealt with one. It would be unforgiveness, and bitterness is going to kill you. Just let you know that if you want to be mad at somebody, you go ahead, but you're the one that's going to pay for it. If you don't want to forgive somebody, you probably have great reasons for it. You're still going to pay for it. So the Bible says to get rid of bitterness as soon as possible, because it will destroy your life. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we got to deal with flesh and blood, which happens to be us. Talks about us a lot. I would say the theme of the New Testament is learning how to get over yourself. That would be the theme of the New Testament, is learning to get over yourself. Almost all the scripture, it's not about you, it's about others, it's about the kingdom of God. And this is what Jesus told us many, many times. And the hardest part is not to think about you, because you're born thinking about you. We're born the complete opposite of what I just told you. We're always thinking about ourselves, what we want, what we can keep, what we get out of it. It's complete opposite. The only thing that changes you is Jesus Christ. Because if you just live it out without Jesus Christ, you're going to continue to do what you were born with. And so the hard part for us in the flesh and blood, there's going to be a conflict of what is right and what is wrong. You may say what is right, but that doesn't mean you will do it, because your flesh and blood is making some decisions you're going to have to deal with. So getting over ourselves is a big deal. Number one is unforgiveness. Number two is getting over ourselves. And number three, the biggest topic in the Bible, the most talked about other than prayer and forgiveness, and Jesus did it, it was called money. This is one of the things, one of the fears. I think a lot of you are afraid of money. I don't think you're afraid of spending it. I think you like that part, but it does some crazy things to you. It puts you in debt. It puts you in worry. There's no peace. All these things happen because of money. And I will say that you're not alone. It's not all because of you. It's not all your fault. That feels a little better, but that doesn't erase the debt or whatever you have to deal with. Now, before I lose you because a preacher talked about money, stay with me. It's really not about money. And you'll hear that as we go through. There's going to be a survey. I know that people are watching online. There's a lot of people that are watching us right now. And a lot more that come here that are online right now. And one of the things that I want to share with you is that you're not going to get to see what's going to happen in here because we're going to do something that I'm not going to put you guys on camera. Is that cool? So you can be honest. Because if I put you on camera, you will lie to me. That's the way it works. You're not going to tell the truth. Let's see if you tell the truth today. So we did a little survey. Have you ever, with the youth Wednesday night, that turned out to be incredible. We learned a lot of things about youth. Let's see if we can go over that while y'all laughing. You want to go over that? Youth will lie to you. Is that good? Did you know this, parents? My daughter, I said, have you ever lied to your parents? My daughter raised her little card. I mean, really? And she just kept raising the card. I'm like, really? But all y'all did, your kids are crazy, just letting you know. So we figured out some stuff. So I'm going to ask you some questions and see how you do. Now, you get to raise your hand. You can either be honest or you can lie. That's just where it is. So you can either do one of the two. Now, they asked us questions. Over 600,000 people took this, and you get to pick one of the two. So the first one, this is crazy, but this is part of the money, what we have to deal with in America. You can be rich and miserable. You can pick that one. That doesn't seem like that should go together, rich and miserable. But most people that I know that are rich are usually miserable. I haven't really found a whole lot of rich people that are really happy. And I'll tell you more about that in a while. Okay, and then you got poor and happy. I guess you would like to see like middle class and happy. Okay, because you don't really want to go to the poor part. And by the way, the Bible doesn't teach us to be poor. You'll have to understand there's a lot of stuff we're missing. All right, so if you want to be rich and miserable, and I do suggest that we be honest in here, if you want to be rich and miserable, raise your hand. So you lied to me. Okay, thank you. We have one. I had to work the first crowd because to rich and miserable. Yeah, I think we want to be rich, and we will see if we can just handle the misery. Is that not it? Well, I'll just work it out. Oh, well, okay. So rich and miserable is 2 in here. Okay, poor and happy. Really? You really want to be poor and happy? You really do? You want to be poor and happy? Okay. I'm going to give you the numbers, and I'm going to listen. Some of this stuff is not going to line up what you think. Now, remember where you live, right? You live in America. Okay, here we go. All right. 29% said they want to be rich and miserable. Does that sound high to you or low to you? High or low? One or the other. Sounds high. 71% want to be poor and happy. Well, why don't you do that? Let me ask so we're going to go through these things. So who's in charge? See, that's the thing. So you get to choose if you want to be rich and miserable or if you want to be poor and happy. Which one's the easiest to get to? The poor and happy, of course. But then why don't we do that? So 71% of America should be poor and happy. That's the deal. All right. I don't believe everybody told me the truth, but we'll go to the next one. I'll tell you the truth. All right, next one. This is going to kill you. How many of you are married? It's very important you answer this correctly. I'm just saying, if you don't answer correctly, there's going to be a fight in the house. Now, I have run this by several ladies. And so I'll tell you that in a minute. All right, everybody, if you'd rather have true love than $10 million, raise your hand. It's so hard to have love and then have money. I don't know which one it is. I understand. Okay, so, wow, y'all really? Okay. See, somebody over here is like, I've been married 4 times. I'm taking the money and going home. I'm out of here. True love? So you're taking a chance on true love. So you're saying, Eddie, you're telling me that I'm going to actually have it. No, I'm saying you're going to take a chance on it. Oh, there we go, Jesse. I love you. Okay, a little different now. Okay, how many would take $10 million and be done with it? You know you're married, right? I just want to say you were married. Okay, just let you know. All right. Is this close at all in America? Yes or no? Before I give it to you. Is it close? Here we go. Here it is. 52% said they would rather have true love. And 48% said, I'll just take the $10 million and don't worry about it. They say money can't buy you love, but it really will. You better be careful. It's just amazing. All right, so true love wins by that much. That's all I'm saying. All right, here we go. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Okay. All right, guaranteed $1 million. All right, can you see it up there? Guaranteed $1 million, or 50% chance to win $5 million, and a 50% chance, 0. Okay, so here we are. Have a chance to win $5 million, only 50% chance though. And over here is a guaranteed $1 million. How many of you would take the $1 million and go home? You know there's $5 million over here. No. If you're under 20, tell me this answer. If you're under 20, would you take the chance on the $5 million? If you're under 20, raise your hand. Which one? 5? Okay, under 5. Y'all wouldn't take the $1 million and leave? No, you take the chance because you got all your life. You're gonna live forever and all that. Okay. I understand how y'all are. All right, here we go. Here's the answer. 86% of you would take the $1 million and go home. 14% of you would take a chance. So these are our gamblers right here. So we have to pray for them. This is our gambler. So so I understand. Bird in hand kind of thing. Still got to pay taxes on it. I love America. Here we go. Next one. Oh, this will be fun. I won't tell you right now. This might surprise you a little bit. All right. Pick a job I love with less pay. Have a job I love with less pay. Here we go. Or a job I hate with high pay. I'm not going to say more. If you would rather have a job you love with less pay, raise your hand. Well, let me help you. Quit your job now. And you say, well, then I'll be poor and happy. No, don't quit your job. I'm just kidding. Okay. But I'm just saying, you're acting like I don't have a choice in this. But okay. How many of you would rather have a high-paying job you hate? Wow, you're still married. I love it. Do that again. High pay, miserable. Mostly men. Okay. So you're saying, I don't know how you stay married with that one either. But I'm just saying, well, she'll be happy. She'll make it. You have money. But this is all right. Here we go. Here we go. All right. 47% say I'd rather have less pay. 47%. Now, let me say this one more time. You do know that you're in charge of this? Is everybody, I mean, you're acting like I don't have a choice in this. So I don't know how we've got to where we don't have a choice, but we do have a choice. 53%, I'd rather have more money and hate my job. This is mostly America right over here. Because we don't know what we're doing most of the time. So the thought would be, let me go to the next one. This is why many of you cannot answer correctly, or you feel like, well, I really want to do this. You raise your hand. I'd rather be poor and happy or whatever, or make less money, and be happy. But the reason you can't do that is because of fear. You're afraid of it. You're afraid what happens if I do take a job with less money, but I'm really happy. You're afraid of what might happen. We're afraid of not having enough. This is the fear. This money thing causes this. You don't have to be afraid of money. as long as you're in charge. But I don't think we're in charge of it. We raise hands and say, I really want to do this, and as if you have nothing to say about it. This is what money does. And I'm talking to you like it's a thing, and I'll be honest with you, it is a thing. You're not alone. Something is happening with your money, and you don't know it. But I'm going to tell you what it is, because Jesus talked about it. So we don't have enough. And this is a lot of things. I don't have enough money, which means I don't have enough time, which means I don't have enough for family. There's a lot of things that go along with, I don't have enough. And money is just this way. There's never enough of it. It won't let you rest. That's what you have to understand. Afraid of losing it. Are you afraid of having too much? How many of you have too much of it? Have you ever? Are we back to let me try? All right, let me do this. All right, I know people have too much. Is that good? They don't go to church. Okay, that's just one of the things. They don't have too much. One of our friends is now a millionaire. Let's say a 50 to 60 millionaire. Does that make sense? 50, 60 million. Let's see if you can deal with 50, 60 million. Well, all right, now we got too much. Now what are we going to do? Well, we got to have a big house. So he has a 15,000 square foot house. You can get lost in it. It has like 2 elevators and a bunch of stuff. So now it's 15,000 square feet. Now what do I got to do? Now I got to hire somebody to take care of it. Now I got to have somebody to come in and clean the house. I got to do it. Now I got money. Now we're going to build me a barn. Well, I'm going to build me a barn, but everybody with money has horses, so let's get some horses. So now we got horses. Now he's got to hire some more people to take care of horses. So he's got all these people. Instead, you remember like coming home and you sit before the TV and you just click around the channels? This is not that house. There are people running through the house, taking care of things, asking for things. It's like you have a company at home. So he's got about 15 to 20 employees that are on payroll. Those things are happening with him. And now he's raising his kids, his 2 children, into this environment. So into this environment, the kids have no sense of reality whatsoever. So you grow up and you graduate, you're in the 9th grade going into the 10th grade, and you get a brand new BMW, whatever you want to call it. And you get the latest this and the latest that. And then the marriage. The money has taken over the marriage. Where are we going to spend it? What are we going to do with it? Now I have this money, and now I've got a bunch of friends. I got a bunch of friends now. I never had these friends before. The only reason you have the friends is because you have the money. And then he finds out they're not his friends, and he comes to me and says, I don't have any friends. He said, I used to have friends before I had money. Now I don't have any friends. He says, I wish this has never happened to me. You cannot believe it. The lottery winners, you can see them. Oprah used to have them all the time. I talked about it. Every one of them said, I wish it had never happened to me. You can have too much, and your life will be out of control because you will not be in charge. I'm looking at people who are not in charge right now in this room. You voted for things that you wanted, but you don't have because you're not in charge. Your money is in charge of you. We live in America. We can do anything we want to do. We can have anything we want to do. And money will make it easy for you to get those things, but it will not make you happy. It will make you miserable. Many of you are so in debt right now that you just hate to think about it. Money likes to do something like this. Let me tell you, it needs, I had this wrong, but it needs to be fed. It needs to feed. It needs to be fed. Money can't stay very long with you. If you have money, you're going to have to do something with it. I'm going to show you a $20 bill. $20. What's your first thought? You just had a thought. I'm going to take that money and I'm going out to eat today. Money doesn't want to be, listen, it wants to be moved. It wants to be fed. It wants you to have credit card debt, so there's more interest and more money, more fed, more feed. It keeps going where you're not in charge. So you had a thought of, I'm going to take it, I'm going to spend it, and I'm going to get me something to eat. What else did you think? That's probably all you thought. You're trying to figure out where you're going to spend it. because you're not in charge. That's what happens. You're not in charge of it. So this money has this thing on it that doesn't like to be handled, doesn't want you to handle, and it doesn't like to be controlled. Jesus talked about it. I'll get there in just a minute. So the thought would be, for people who are in control of their money, here's a couple of things you could have thought. I'm going to save this, which is abnormal, because this doesn't want to be saved. It doesn't like to put into place, and it cannot move. It doesn't like it. Or the other thing I can do is I can actually give this away and bless somebody else. Now, how many of you had that thought? You see, we don't have these thoughts. We have the same thoughts because money just keeps moving us in a place that we can't do anything we want to do. Let me say this. Money is not the issue. Because you look in the Old Testament, you look in the New Testament, these are very wealthy people. I will say to you that God needs you to be wealthy. Some of you will make it wealthy, and some of you will not make it wealthy, but we all have a choice to do what we're going to do with our money. You could live so much better if you understood what was happening to you and why you do not have the things you want to do. You raise your hand for these things, but you can't have them. Because you have a house, you have a car, you have children, you have 5 children, I need 5 bedrooms, I need this, I need that. It's always about I this and I want more. There is never enough of money. There's never enough. Now I'm going to stop right there and say that this spirit that's on money is messing with you right now. See, every time a pastor mentions money in the church like this, that spirit rises up and it tries its best to get you off. Don't listen to him. He's telling us, he's lying to you. All he wants is your money. I'm not asking for your money. I'm saying your life's destroyed. I'm saying your life is being destroyed and you're not paying attention. This is exactly what Jesus tried to tell us. We must have more. How much is enough? A little more. That's what money says. Do you have enough money? Well, no, I don't have enough money. I got to work some more. I got to have some more. And this is what happens to us. Everybody in here, you told me that you would rather do something else than you're doing right now. But you have let money put you in that place. The need to have more, the need to never enough. I need a bigger this. I had my car for 2 years. I got to get rid of it. I got to get me a new one. And there's nothing wrong with any of having money or having houses and land and all those things. That's what you need. But you need to know how to use it where you can move people to the cross. That's exactly what they used it for. They learned how to bless people over and over. And you're being used. Let me share this with you. Let me say this first. In the name of Jesus Christ, we're not going to let this spirit control us or talk to us while I'm doing this. I'm not going to let it talk to you in the name of Jesus Christ. I need you to hear me. I need you to hear. This spirit is called Mammon. It came from Babylon. It moved down. And this is the spirit that is on your money. This is why you cannot handle it. You cannot deal with it. This is the part of the controlling spirit that is over the one who's using it. It's any kind of money. It is on it. Let's look at America. Do we know how to handle money? We're in debt. Are you kidding me? This is exactly what this is. There's only 4 times this was used, and Jesus used them 3 times. And he didn't call it money, he called it the mammon. He said, you can't serve this one and serve me. Because this one will control your life, it will destroy your life, and I will give you life. There are 2 different things that were going on. And he called this out 3 times so that the people around him would know, I am really talking about a spirit here that is on your money. It will not let you control. It will not let you save, and it will not let you give, because it does not benefit mammon. And so the opposite of what God has given us and what he's told us will benefit the kingdom and benefit you. Here's what it fears. Here's what I want you to pay attention to. This is what money fears. Here it is. It fears, I'm going to sit on the other side. There we go. That's a bad leg. It fears this. It fears a budget. Now listen very carefully. And tell me if I'm wrong. It fears a budget. It fears saving, being saved, and it fears giving because it loses control. These are the things that are found in the Bible that God said, if you do these things, you will have life. And this is the last thing that you want to do. It is amazing to me. And you say, why can't I get control of that? Listen, you're going to have to pay attention every day. This is the exhausting thing with money. If you do not pay attention every day, you will be in debt more than you can imagine. It will only take an hour for you, and you can never get out of it. It is not that way with other things. Jesus told us how to control this, and this is the controls. Money's not like anything else. It's not going to be handled. It does not want to be saved, and especially it does not want you to give it to someone else and bless them. Every one of these are control issues. Remember I said we're trying to get over ourselves in the New Testament? This is part of the problem, is that the third thing was money. We got to get control of it. And these are the controls. Let's ask the question, do you have these controls? Here's what's amazing to me. People will say, I want God in my life. I want God in my family. And I hear all this, and that's just wonderful, and I want all that. But you will not let God in your money because you have another one. Mammon has ruled America and is ruling you. There is no way out of it. Giving is the hardest thing you will do because you will lose control. Because you will not get anything physically for this. You will be able to move the kingdom and bless people in their life. And one of the things that happens with this kind of thing, this kind of giving, it multiplies back to you. Mammon just keeps on taking. What the problem is that you don't trust God on this one. You do not trust what I'm saying. And I did not trust it at all. Because I heard pastors say what I'm saying to you. And in my 20s, I did not believe it. Because I'm in my 20s, I'm spending money on me. And the reason I'm spending money on me is because I was racing go-karts and I loved it. And if you ever race cars or go-karts, there's no end to the money that you will spend on those things. And I enjoyed it. And I found out about giving. I found out about other people. It changed everything from what I was doing. This right here, you got to pay attention to. This is the thing that you're going to want. You're going to want it all. You live in America, let's have it all. Let's have it all. You want to have it all? This is exactly what God wants you to do, is have the all. It's exactly what he wants. Now, God will not have the all. He will not have it all. He paid for it all. He gave it all, but he will not have the all. Because the all is you. The all is you. And we are all, the all is not going to accept Jesus Christ. He's not going to get everybody back. So he's not going to have all. But you can have all. The problem is, do we know what all is? You raised your hand a while ago and you told me what you thought all was. You thought all was poor and happy. Well, how do you I don't think I want you to be poor, and the Bible doesn't want you to be poor. They preached against being poor. Poverty, they don't want you to go to poverty levels. That's not going to help the kingdom. It's not going to help anybody. That's not what we're wanting. That's not what God's wanting. He needs you to have some money to do things with. But somebody's got to control it. And this was the thought. What is my all? What is your all? Well, let's do some all. You ready? Here's my all. I want to spend more time with my family. Would that be, am I saying anything wrong? True. I want to do more for people. I want less stress in my life. You see, here we go. I would rather have a job that gave me more time and I made less money and I was happy. I would really like that. That's part of my all. But you're not there. You're not there because you're not in charge. You're just not in charge. That's the problem. What do I have to do to get to all? I'll tell you one of the things that I did. I'm trying to find my nose is running off around here. here's what I did. Now, I don't tell you what I do because I won't say I'm the pastor. I'm just going to tell you what I've learned, and I will do this if I'm not a pastor. So here's what I figured out. This just happened recently. I had a $400 truck payment. Okay, so I had a black Avalanche Chrome. I just want to hug it. I love my truck. Guys, you know what you mean you love your truck. You know, you're going to keep the truck cleaner than you are your house. Does everybody understand that? So I just want to hug that truck. So that payment kept coming up, and that's not counting taxes and insurance and all that. And I have my daughter here, and can I afford it? I think that's the wrong question. Is it, can I afford it? Well, I can't afford it. And you ask, well, can I afford the house? Is that the right question? What you need to ask is, if I have this house or I have this car, will it work to the all? Because you raised your hand for the all. I want this, I want this, I want this. Will it work to the all? If it doesn't work to the all, then I don't need it. So what I decided to do about March, I just said, I'm done. I'm going to sell the truck. I sold the truck. It went real quick because it's a pretty thing and I want to hug it again. I saw it the other day. I just want to squeeze it. So going down the road. So I decided, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell that. I'm going to get a 2003 Toyota Sequoia, because it's got more room and carry more kids in it. And I'll have money now, because I don't have any payments on it. I'll have money now that I can go ahead and do what I want to do. Now, here's what I want to do. I want to do this. I want to take kids to Dollywood and to places that I can take them. I want to buy season passes for kids that can't buy season passes to go to Dollywood, so they can be in my car with my daughter, and we can go have some fun. And when they get to Dollywood, they don't have to say, well, what are we going to do for money? I'm going to say, you thank God for the Toyota. Go get you a funnel cake. And the reason I say this is because that is the all. You see what I'm saying? So if it's not going to work to my benefit with the all, then why am I living in it and why am I driving it? And then you come into a place like this and you don't have time to serve, you have no money to give because you're so in debt, and you raise your hand as if, I really want to do that though. You're not living to the all. The all for God was you and for me. So I'm not going to let a truck take away from what I want to do when it comes to moving the kingdom. We are in it to move the kingdom. We have to pay for it. We have to move it. And that's what we do. But you are being controlled. I got this thing and I was at 20 years old, and I said, I am not going to let this thing control me. I'm going to tell my money what it's going to do. And we'll talk some more about that next week. How do you get more control of it? That kind of thing. But I'm telling you, if you're raising your hand saying, I'd rather have this, I'd rather have that, who is keeping you from that? If you know that I'd rather work with people more, I'd rather have more family time, then you need to sell something. Don't quit your job. Don't go out here and say, I quit your job. But you need to have a family meeting and say, this is what we really need to do. I got to hurry. They're going to kill me in the kids' department. The all, you got to think, I'm completely taken up with it. This is what I think about. I'm completely taken up with people at Marathon, with the kids. I'm completely taken up. I love what I do with the youth on Wednesday nights and hanging out. I love to buy things for the youth. I love to buy dinners for the youth. I buy dinners for our leaders. I love doing that. Thank you, Toyota. I am completely consumed with it. You're not consumed with your all, or you would make changes immediately. I'm giving to it. My time, my energy, my money. What you give to is what you love. So don't let anything fool you. Don't say you love God and love people and no money ever goes to those things. I got 4 children that I support with Compassion International because I got tired of looking at their faces on TV. I said, I'm not going to feel guilty every time I see these kids. I'm going to do something about that. So I got those kids, and then I got kids here. Can you do that? That is what I give to, and to you. That's where I am, or absorbed by. In other words, this is how I live, this is how I think. Real quick, let me come over here. All right, what's your first love? It used to be your wife. Let's go to the second thing. I think this is how you're going to have to figure out your all. What do I love first? What do I love? What do I love second? what I love third, those are the orders. And I don't care what you do or what you say. Excuse me, I don't care what you say. You can look at where you spend your time and spend your money, and that's exactly what you love. Do not say you love your family and you spend no time with them. Does everybody hear me? Because you are being played, and mammon is playing you. The idea is to destroy your family. No one reason people get a divorce is because of money. Because of money. Are y'all picking up what I'm laying down? What's your first love? Seek first the kingdom of God is what the Bible says. I really do love people. I actually care. I really do. I love them. I love my family. I'm not going to move my truck to first. I'm not going to move my house to first. And nothing's wrong with it. Then what's beautiful is I get to have something to drive and something to live in, and I still get to bless a bunch of people because I'm in charge and not money. You got to pay attention. Seek first the kingdom of God. I'll tell you another story next week. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all. These things shall be added to you. All. Everything. I did not know the all until I started making choices. I don't know how we let that happen, how we let money just take over our life and just tells us how we're going to live and where we're going to live and what we're going to do. I admire the people who are looking for tiny houses. As you get older, that's what you want. I'm looking for a tent right now. Yeah. But I'm just telling you, that's what you're looking for because you're beginning to figure out what's important. I was lucky I figured out what was important in my 20s. I was very lucky, very lucky. And so my all is people, and I'm not going to let anything take that. Not a house, not a car, none of that. I'm going to give my money. I'm going to bless people with my money. And one of the reasons that I get to do more of it because it multiplies back to me. That's what the Bible says will happen. Now, Mammon's just going to keep it, and you're not going to have any. God says, I'm going to give it back. Now, you're just going to have to figure it out yourself, not me. I know it. But some of you, if you raised your hand for one of these things, then you got to go home and you got to figure out why you're not doing it. You got to figure out your all. Okay, we got to go. Stand with me. Let me have a prayer for you. I am really behind. I got announcements and an offering to take, so I'm really behind. So y'all pray fast, I pray fast. All right? Here we go. Father, thank you again for the day. Thank you for helping us discover who we are and what we need to be doing. And we pray right now that mammon will never take over our life. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.